Okay, so we've got some more questions with Tom this week. It was kind of interesting. People are now sort of asking questions about sort of the coaching role, and so these are some pretty interesting things that I think everyone should benefit and learn from. So, deloading. So, why do you do it? When do you do it? How do you do it? I guess probably what is deloading?
There's a lot of different ways to go about deloading. How we tend to deload here is obviously we have our 6-week cycles, and we have you guys test a max or a number or something like that, and we have you typically do a 4-week pretty intense strength training cycle. The 5th week of that programming cycle is generally a little bit lighter, maybe just a little bit more conditioning and a little bit less barbell, a little bit less load on the body, so that way the following week, the 6th week of the cycle, when we do want to test your maxes or retest whatever it is that we're testing, you're a little bit fresher, you're not as neurologically fatigued. So that's generally how deloading goes in the gym. I could get into a whole lot of, nerd out, talk about specific programming, but generally in the gym, that's how we deload.
How often should you be deloading, in a sense? Like, whatever we run a 6-week programming cycle, but just for people that are doing their own thing or out in the world, like, how often should they be doing it?
That depends on a lot of different things. It depends on the volume of the cycle, how often you're training, how many days a week you're training, and what's the end goal. For example, like somebody who's doing a 4-year training cycle for the Olympics is going to deload a very different way than somebody who's just going to the gym regularly. So if you're just going to the gym regularly, at least every 8 weeks you should be doing a week where you're very, very, very little time under tension, very little sort of heavy lifting, I guess, very little neurological fatigue. You want to avoid that as much as possible. So if you're just lifting heavy all the time, forever and ever and ever, eventually that's going to wear down on you.
Cool. All right, send us some questions for Tom next week.